You can see in this therapist demo form that I've got set up that if I select eating habits or building friendships, just a regular old button, but if I select something else, a new box appears. So this is conditional logic. I'm going to go over today Squarespace's updated forms. It is absolutely a game changer, especially if you're used to using third-party forms like Google Forms or Typeform or Tally. This new iteration of Squarespace forms has what we call conditional logic. You can see in this therapist demo form that I've got set up that if I select eating habits or building friendships, just a regular old button, but if I select something else, a new box appears. So this is conditional logic, basically meaning that if somebody selects a particular answer and you want them to go deeper, you can do that now. It's an extremely useful tool for any kind of profession that requires forms, intake forms. I'm going to do a quick run through of this new Squarespace forms, some of the form fields, and show you how that follow-up question / conditional logic works so that you can update your forms, make them look really sharp, really good, keep everything all in one place within Squarespace. All right, so first I'm going to double click on this form. You can see very first thing I advise people to do is to go ahead and change that form name. Sometimes people can see it, so you want to make sure that you always change that. By default, it's going to say new form, so you want to update that to make sure it reflects what the actual form is. So in this case, I just put interest form. Then you want to update the button text if you want it changed at all. That's how you would update that here. And then we're going to go over to the form fields. Now, there's a ton you can do here. I've already kind of got it started. But the biggest change that I'm talking about with this conditional logic is the ability to add follow-up questions. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So the radio button here, you can see designated with this little radio icon, forces people to choose one answer. Okay, so if you want people to do multiple checkboxes or multiple choice situation where they can choose multiple things, you're actually not going to use a radio button. You're going to use a checkbox. And that will allow people to choose more than one item. But in this case, I have a radio. I want to force them into an answer. And just a demo, totally demo therapist site on this. So I've got 4 options here. There's grief, trouble sleeping, eating habits, building friendships. You can see something else already has this follow-up. So I've already added that here. I'm going to add it to another option so that you can kind of see how it works. So if I select these 3 dots here, I can select add follow-up question. And then I like to do something simple, like a text box. I might say something like, tell me more about that, right? So now if somebody selects building friendships, something else will pop up that says, tell me more about that. Let's test it so that you can see what I mean. Default form is just like this. Trouble sleeping, nothing. Grief, nothing. Eating habits, nothing. Building friendships, tell me more about that. Something else? Share the details, right? So I've sort of just set up these follow-up questions there based on what they've selected. Now you can get much more advanced with this by doing more than a text box. So you can always see here which ones have a follow-up. So if I go here and I want to change this follow-up, I'm just going to delete that field. Maybe I'm going to say add a follow-up checkbox and say something like, have you experienced any of the following recently? Moving, graduation, family trouble, whatever we want to say, right? Just going to keep that here. Again, totally a demo. Now we're going to save that. I'll adjust the spacing because Squarespace likes to bump that up every now and then. We're going to preview it so you can kind of see what I mean. So again, we've got the name, email, grief, nothing, trouble, sleeping, nothing, eating habits, nothing, building friendships. Boom. Have you experienced any of the following lately? So look how cool this conditional logic is. Then maybe they'll say, oh, I've been moving a lot lately. We just moved from Chicago to Phoenix. Then they can go ahead and hit send. Now, if they hit send, they're going to see a really simple post submit button. We're going to go through that so that you can edit it and customize it. So you can adjust that here under Edit Post Submit. By default, you have this message option. It'll say something like, thank you. I adjusted it. Thanks for reaching out. But what you could also do, especially if you're a service provider, if you are an actual therapist or independent professional coach, something like that, you can always redirect to a booking link here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do my Calendly link just to give you that example. Now I'm going to go ahead and save that. We're going to exit. Let's go ahead and do a quick test. All right. We've got eating habits, building friendships. I've got some family stuff. Also, just moved. Now when I go ahead and hit send, it's going to submit. It's going to notify me, the website owner, and it's going to redirect me to this awesome Calendly page where they can come here, click, and book a time. It is such a seamless process now. It's so nice. I cannot tell you how many times we used to build this in Typeform for therapists, and I love Typeform. I love Tally. They're tools I recommend. But if you do want to keep things in Squarespace and you have all of your stuff there already, maybe your services, your packages, this form tool is just incredible. So give it a shot. Conditional logic on Squarespace forms. Absolute win if you are using Squarespace, and we could use that these days. By the way, if you like the look of the therapist site, kind of how it's feeling, take a look at our therapist templates that we have in the blog post linked below. You're more than welcome to grab those. A lot of them are modified Squarespace templates. Our team is always happy to help you set those up. And if you found this useful, please do like, subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference and really pays off for us. And it really helps us out. Thank you so much.